Hi, everybody. I'm here today with Jane Ivy, beautiful name, and she's actually just down the road from me, maybe several hours, but pretty close. And she is a current student in my HEAL program. It used to be called Relief and Transformation, but we changed the name recently. So, Jane Ivy, how long have you been with me now? It's been
I
a
think
couple
we
months.
started in September
September, October,
of last year.
January. Wow, that's been a lot longer than I thought.
I know, exactly. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I would love to hear from you briefly where you were before you started the course. In other words, how long have you been ill and what have been the most difficult symptoms for you?
I've had chronic illness for decades, and it went on and on that way because no one really knew what it was. I was diagnosed with IBS, fibromyalgia, back degeneration, just a whole slew of things like that. And we just kind of treated each symptom or condition as separate things. Down underneath everything in my mind, I knew that there was something else wrong. I just didn't think we were hitting on it correctly. So years go by, and as a result of not being, not dealing with the root problem, I became sicker and sicker, but I was functioning still. I was raising children. I was taking care of elderly family members. I was a wife. I worked part time. Anyway, that kept going on and nothing got better. Not long after that, I did a lot of research and found the low oxalate diet, which is what I've been on for about 3 years. And through doing that, I really did lose a few of those symptoms that I was having. They're gone. They're completely gone. But the problem for me was there was a whole bucket load of other symptoms that weren't gone. And so I just knew after being, researching for 3 or 4 years anyway, I knew that there was something else wrong, that we weren't addressing the whole picture. Just a few puzzle pieces were coming together, but not the whole picture. So I found you through the summit in 2023, I guess, the summit of 23, and watched a lot of the interviews there. And it was funny because I thought about contacting maybe one of the doctors that was on there, but something kept telling me to get in touch with you. So that's what I did. And we began from there. So
Yeah. What were like the top two most difficult symptoms that were still left over after you were eating low oxalate?
a lot of inflammation, which was causing a lot of joint and bone pain and even muscle pain at times. So lots of pain, insomnia, and gut trouble. I'll just have to add that one because that was there every day. So I would say
Mhm.
those are the top three.
What about post-exertional malaise, like crashing if you overdid it?
That that was there, but I did not develop that until I had long COVID. And I've had long COVID twice. The first COVID I got was in 2020, and I developed like some POTS and stuff like that with that. And I did experience PEM after the first. And then I got another COVID in 2023 beginning, and it was much, much worse. It sent me to the ER, and then I came out with all kinds of MCAS symptoms, anaphylactic issues. It was very frightening, very scary. And still the PEM was, still there. So I guess just going back to where that originated would have been the first long COVID that I had, which basically has never really gone away since then.
Right. Right. Gotcha. Okay. And so so some people who join me, who work with me are extremely sensitive. And you are one of those people, right? Yep. So, some people we have to go very, very slowly with the supplements and even with food.
Mhm.
Now, actually, for you, when you started with me, how many foods could you tolerate?
Back then, probably five, maybe. It was under 10. I know that it might have been like five, and maybe like cilantro was okay too, but that doesn't really give you sustenance. But 5 to 10. at the most.
And how many and or has that gotten better?
It's gotten better. It's gotten better. I've reached out and tried to not be fearful about, just trying a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm able to eat red meat again. I'm sticking with bison because the company I get it from, it's done all real fresh. And I still have some histamine issues, so I have to be careful. But I've added some red meat in. That's a big, big plus. I was not doing meat at all before I started with you. It was just bothering me at the time, but I learned a lot about meat after that and about how if you do it, it really has to be fresh.
Mhm.
So I've got several meats. I'm still toying around with eggs. Eggs, I think are okay, but they're better if it's in something. So rather than just eating the egg by itself, so I'm kind of toying around with that right now.
Right, but
Um,
you have noticed a shift
yeah,
with the MCAS and the histamine, even if it's just a little bit, right?
right. Correct. Mhm.
So that's huge because I know that a lot of people who are listening right now have histamine issues and have MCAS issues, and it feels like, I mean, you tell me, but I know that sometimes it feels like that's insurmountable.
Correct. Just those things in and of itself are rough. I would
Yeah,
not wish that on my worst enemy. I don't have any enemies, I don't think, but I would not wish it on anyone.
yeah, yeah.
It's horrible.
Now, so where you are right now in the treatment protocol is still kind of early on, and I'm giving it air quotes because you have come a long way already
Mhm.
just with the eating plan, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, y'all, Jane Ivy has a ton of stuff going on in her life right now. Is it okay if I share?
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So she just designed a new house that's gorgeous, and she's still in the midst of doing that and kind of managing, being a project manager kind of for that.
Yeah.
And there's still some construction on it, and now they're in the midst of actually moving into the house. So she's had a lot on her plate, but even within that, she's been able to move through the course at her own pace, which is exactly how I mean, you've heard me say it over and over again probably that it really is at your pace.
Your body tells you really what you can and can't do.
Now I know that for some people the eating plan is difficult, which is understandable. And I know that we worked together to shift you into that in a way that was more comfortable,
Right. Right.
right? So, how has that been working for you with the eating plan?
Good on the eating plan. I still break down sometimes and have to get a little bit of sugar. I have trouble with that. And you've told me why. So I probably need to do some more tapping on that and or some sort of meditation or even maybe just I thought about even later today jotting down exactly, you know, what I've eaten the last few days. I do that anyway, but I mean get a really detailed paper of that and at the times I crave it. And then maybe, like you said, I have to have just a little bit of something to kind of taper off when I have these cravings, and I'm working on that right now to try to not keep sugar in the diet because it really does make me feel worse.
Right. And like you said, there's a reason for that. It's because that's what parasites live off of
Yeah.
is sugar. And so this is for the people who are watching.
Mhm.
And the reason it makes us feel worse when we eat sugar or more carbs or even a ton of protein at a time, because protein past a certain point turns into sugar, is because the parasites gobble it all up, they get stronger, and they release a whole bunch of toxins. So and a couple of other reasons as well. But Jane Ivy, for you, comparing the amount of sugar that you were eating before you started with me to now?
It was the ice cream way
Yeah,
back.
but
It was
I'm
the ice
saying,
cream.
like, you used to
Yeah.
eat ice cream every night.
Right, it was every night, and I was eating it as a meal because at that
That was
time,
one of the things that you tolerated,
that was
right?
one of the things I
Yeah.
tolerated.
Yeah, so now, how
Uh,
do you
I mean, I break down and do that, but I haven't touched ice cream. I vowed ice cream off. It's more like blueberries, and I might sprinkle a tiny bit of maple syrup on them. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? The
but
sugar on
what I
top.
what I want to get across to you and to everybody who's watching too is that in comparison with where you used to be, where you are now is, like, almost light years away.
It is. It's probably about, I think I measured it at one time when I was doing the ice cream. I was eating over 100 grams, or is it milligrams, I guess, of sugar a day, simple sugar.
It might be grams.
I'm not sure the measurement, yeah, how I did that, but it was over 100 for the ice cream. That was just for the ice cream because I would eat a bowl and then there might have been a couple other things I was doing. So, now, yeah, it's a totally different ballgame now. I'm not eating
Okay,
fruit
great.
near as much. It means that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
absurd. Like I had no idea I was what I was doing until I really got to the numbers and realized that that was not a good thing.
right, right. So for you, our approach has been, of course, tailored to you because of, you know, where you are in your life and things like that. How how has that been for you as compared to people that you worked with before and approaches that you've taken before?
When I was doing the oxalate, I did have some really intense one-on-one attention. And so that one was tailored to me because I filmed that nutritionist right after I got out of the ER with that second COVID. And she knew a lot about histamine, salicylate, things that can really bother people that have an MCAS situation going on. She was very familiar with all of that. So she helped me through for months after that. And then before her, anytime I went to a dietitian to lose weight, something like that in the past, that was my goal. It never worked for me. I I don't remember exactly what their program was, but it never worked for me. There was something just missing.
Because
Uh,
parasites were in there craving, craving, craving stuff.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what have you found helpful about the course, about the program, the HEAL program?
I think the comprehensivist it's comprehensive. It's not just one thing that we do. Like you said, you work with each individual on their eating plan and supplement plan. However you want to work with them, we're all individuals. We've got that going on. And then you work with this on, you've got meditations for us to learn and follow. We've got tapping. We have, so many things that will help our nervous system. It's a comprehensive program is what I think of it as and what I like about it. All of that seems to be just as important as the eating plan and supplement protocol.
Yes, and speaking of the supplements, have you seen any parasite coming out of yet?
I have had evidence. Yeah. Lots.
Yeah, yeah. One of our other students, which I know you've heard her talk about, I think she's up to like over 300 parasites that just the ones that she's seen and counted. It's mind blowing, right? I mean, I know that you'd seen what I'd been talking about and you'd heard that you were probably going to be passing parasites. What was your response when you actually started seeing them?
I was happy. I screamed. I cheered. I cheered and ran through the house. Look, I said, look what I've done. Look what's happening. I'm always going to gross out, but it was the opposite reaction. I was just so happy.
Yeah.
Visual evidence of something that has been hurting me for, 35, 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was,
Did you think beforehand that you were actually gonna see them?
you mean after you told me I might or before I talked to you? You mean
Either.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I was still
Yeah.
skeptical, but but I had been listening to you guys and I had listened to the students that were ahead of me that joined the program before me and excuse me, shared some stories and I believed y'all. But when it happens to you yourself, you really get that confirmation. You get the confirmation that you need.
Yeah.
It was this wild. It's
Y
wild.
yeah, it is. It really is. What how has the community been for you?
Wonderful. I feel like just it's so amazing to be, on our group chat together and see people and talk to people that are like me. It was just like a mirror image of me, the whole group of people. And it's been real special. It's a very special experience.
Good. Good. And what when you were thinking about taking the course, what were some of the fears that you had about signing up?
The food intolerances, at that time, I didn't know if you were going to put me on, supplements or parasite medicines. I was fearful of anything that touched or went inside my body, eating worms, because I have problems with products too. So it's not just food, but just anything. I was just really fearful of. I really thought that I probably wouldn't be able to eat any more food than those 5 foods that I was eating when I met you. But you told me and you promised me that with time I'd be able to eat a little bit more and a little bit more. And that's exactly what's happened. It worked.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and really your journey has certainly has begun, but you have so many wonderful parts to look forward to as well.
Correct. Right. Yeah. I'm ready. I always remind you that my mind is ready. You remind me that we're going to follow what the body says to do right now. So my mind is ready too to plow forward.
Yes. Yes, yes. Jane, thank you so much for spending the time, right now with me, but also for being in the program and for your presence there, which is uplifting for everyone.
Well, I feel the same way. And thank you too so much for being there for us. It
Yeah.
takes a special person to want to spend time with people who have complex issues.
Well, I've been there. So, to y'all who are watching this, thank you, thank you. And if you have questions for Jane Ivy or for me about this, you can pop them into the comments. Jane Ivy, if that's okay with
Sure.
maybe we'll hop on again sometime to answer any questions that people have.
Okay.
And yeah, so we'll talk. I'll see you, Jane Ivy, soon again.
Eat today.